Amudar Pratap Singh joining us on NewsX. The stage is set for one of the most important meetings of the 21st century. 1,267 days after Russia went to war with Ukraine, a United States president will be meeting with the Russian president with the hope of ending the war. The meeting is scheduled in Anchorage in Alaska at 1 a.m. India time on Friday. Before the meeting, the US president has warned Russian President Putin of severe consequences if Putin continues the Ukraine war after the summit. Putin, on the other hand, has acknowledged Trump's efforts as being genuine. Zelensky has warned Trump before the meeting that Putin definitely does not want peace. India has welcomed the summit, reiterating its stance that this is not an era of war. Trump's Treasury Secretary has also warned India of secondary tariffs over Russian oil if the summit fails. The stakes are high as the two leaders will be face to face. Whether peace is in sight is the only question that the world wants answers for. Joining us live at this point is Andrew Latham, Professor of International Relations. He's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Professor Latham, welcome. Thank you for being with us today on NewsX. How do you react to this meeting that has finally been fixed for the 15th of August in Alaska? What are the anticipations there in the U.S. for this meeting?
Well, I think some people have exaggerated expectations because there are some irreconcilable differences at play on this particular playing field, and it's going to be hard for Presidents Putin and Trump to overcome those irreconcilable differences. The areas where they agree are that both Russia and the U.S. want a deal with each other. They want to enhance their relations. Russia wants out from under the sanctions. The United States wants to court Russia and draw it away from China in many respects. And so there's some prospect for progress there, I suppose. But Ukraine, the war in Ukraine is the sticking point. Trump has invested too much political capital in bringing that to an end. He needs to see that war end, and I don't think he cares on what terms. President Putin wants to see the war end, but on his terms, and his terms involve perpetual occupation and incorporation of the Donbass region into the Russian Federation. Here's the fly in the ointment, as it were. That deal could be done probably between those two great powers, but the European allies are backing Ukraine's demand for a seat at the table. No deal, says President Zelensky, unless Ukraine is part of the negotiation that yields that deal. And there's a prospect for a follow-on summit in which that might happen. But at this particular summit, Trump is only paying attention to Zelensky because Prime Minister Starmer and Chancellor Merz and other important European players are putting a lot of pressure on him, which is further complicating these negotiations in Alaska. So bottom line is, I'm not terribly hopeful, although I think the theatrics might be interesting.